Mina was 8 when her father planted a tree in their backyard. "This is your dream tree," he said. "Whatever you want to be, it starts here." She giggled, thinking he meant it would grow books, or ballet shoes, or glittery microphones. But her father just smiled. "Water it every week. Talk to it. When you are confused, it will listen." At first, it was a game, then a ritual. Whenever she had a bad day at school, or someone said she talked too much or thought too big, she would run to the tree, press her hand to the back, and whisper, "I still want to become her, the girl who changes things." When she turned 13, her father lost his job. They sold the car, switched schools. She heard her parents whisper at night, like hope was something they had to ration. But the tree remained, and so did Mina's habits. "I still want to become her," she would whisper. No one listened, except the tree. Mina was 15 when the tree split for the first time. A storm had rolled in one night, thunder shaking the small house, rain lashing the windows like a warning. She ran outside, barefoot, lightning slicing the sky, and saw it, her tree, bent but not broken, the top branches torn in half. She screamed, "No, no, please!" Her dad came running. "It's okay," he said, wrapping a towel around her shoulders. "Even the strongest trees break sometimes, and that's how they learn how to grow next." They tapped the broken branch together, and Mina kept watering it. That year, Mina failed her first exam. She would always been the smart girl, the dreamer, the talk-too-fast kid who everyone thought would fly. But suddenly, she wasn't flying, just floating. Some days, sinking. One afternoon, she sat under the trees, arms around her neck. "I don't think I'm her anymore, that girl I wanted to be." The wind moved gently through the leaves. It didn't answer, but it didn't move either way, and that somehow was enough. Mina was 17 when the school announced an inter-school speech contest. She didn't plan to enter. She hadn't spoken in public since the test failure 2 years ago. Her voice had grown smaller, her dreams quieter. But one day she found a note in her backpack. "You don't need to sound loud to be heard, Dad." She smiled, folded it, carried it in her pocket for days. The night before audition, she stood in front of the mirror, holding a hairbrush. "Hello, my name is Mina, and this is my voice." She laughed at herself, and she tried it again and again. By midnight, her eyes were puffy. Her voice was cracked, but she didn't stop. At school the next day, she stood at the front of the empty hall. A mic, a panel, 30 seconds to prove she belonged. Her palms were sweating. But then she looked out the window and saw the tree, standing, still there, bent but growing. She closed her eyes and began. "There is a tree in my yard. It is not perfect, but is mine." The panel listened, and no one looked away. Mina made the finals. The list was posted on the school's notice board at 7:15 a.m. By 7:30, whispers had begun. "She? The quiet girl? Did you hear her voice crack? I bet her dad pulled string." She heard it all. She smiled anyway, but at lunch she sat in the restroom stall and didn't eat. That evening she came home to find her father sitting beneath the tree, not reading, just thinking. "Rough day?" he asked without looking. She didn't answer. Instead, she sat beside him and whispered, "They think I don't belong." He nodded slowly. "Good, let them wonder. What if they are right?" He finally turned to her. "Let me tell you something about this tree, Mina. After that storm, people said it was dead, useless, but it's just resting, gathering strength. You don't grow for them, you grow for you. That night, she opened her journal and wrote, "Being strong quietly is still strength." And for the first time in years, she dreamed of herself on a stage, not shaking, not hidden, but shining. The day of the finals arrived. The auditorium lights were brighter than Mina expected. The microphone too tall. The audience too quiet. She stepped onto the stage, breathed shallow, palms sweaty. She began her monologue. First line, perfect. Second line, shaky. Third line, vanished. Blank. Complete silence. A murmur rippled through the audience. Her heart pounded. Say something, she begged herself. Move, breathe, run. But then she looked out, and in the sea of faces, one stood still, her father, at the back row, faded sweater, eyes full of calm. He didn't mouth the words. He didn't give a thumbs up. He just looked at her like she was exactly where she was meant to be. And suddenly, she remembered the next line, and then the next, and then all of it. When she finished, there was no standing ovation, just claps, simple, polite. But she smiled as she walked off the stage because she hadn't run, she hadn't disappeared. She stayed, and that alone was everything. After the competition, Mina found her father waiting outside. He didn't say, "I'm proud of you." He didn't need to. Instead, he handed her a folded paper. Aged, soft, almost breaking at the seams. "This was mine," he said. "The first monologue I ever wrote." She blinked. Her father? The man who barely spoke at dinner? "I wrote it in secondary school," he said, "but I never performed it. Didn't believe I could." Mina opened it. His handwriting was younger, but every line was alive with feeling. "I never planted my dreams," he whispered, "but I watered yours." And suddenly Mina saw it. Every taxi ride he didn't complain about. Every night he sat up while she practiced. Every time he didn't speak but listened. He would build a stage beneath her feet long before she ever stood on one. Later that night, Mina placed his monologue inside her journal, not to perform, not to post, just to remember. She wasn't the first dreamer in the family. She was the first to believe it was allowed. Mina walked through the hall of the same university where she once sat at the back of the class. The only girl in a room full of doubts. Now, name was on the door. Professor Mina Collins. Department of Innovation and Leadership. She paused at the door, placing her hand over her arm. Her father's words echo, just like they did every time she was afraid. "Mina, if they don't give you space, build your own table." The auditorium was full. Young girls, mothers, teachers, even a few of her old classmates sat in the back, eyes wide. She stepped to the mic. No slide, no applause yet, just her voice. "They told me my dreams were too loud, that I was too intense, too ambitious, too soft. But I wasn't too much, I was just Ellie. I'm not the exception. I am the result of what happens when one girl is believed in, every single day." After the talk, a little girl walked up to her with the same shy eyes Mina once had. She said, "Miss Mina, how did you not give up?" Mina knelt, smiled, and said, "Because my father whispered to me every morning before the word could shout, 'You were born for more, and I believe you will get there.'" As the sun set, Mina walked past the walls where her childhood vision board was hung, and in the glass behind her reflection, she saw the girl she used to be. Notebook in the hand, eyes filled with fire. Mina whispered to her, "Dear." They say your dreams are too big. We did it. And she smiled back. Here is the moral of this story. They'll say you dream too big until the dream becomes reality. Mina's journey reminds us that belief doesn't start in the world. It starts at home, in the quiet moments, in the voices that remind us we are more than enough. Not every girl will have a father like Mina's, but every girl deserves someone who tells her you can. And if you've never heard that before, let this be the moment. You can rise, you can lead, you can build what no one has ever seen before. Even when you feel like the only one. The world doesn't change when one girl gets lucky. It changes when one girl decides to believe and never stops. So, to every Mina out there, don't wait to be chosen. Choose yourself, and then what? Be the reason another girl does too. Follow me for more inspiring stories. Bye for now.